Hello, I'm Ben Brownlee for BorisFX, and in this optics tutorial we're going to be looking at how we add multiple effects and how we mix those layers together. Now this is a nice image, but I just want to increase some of the contrast in it. So I'm going to come into grads and tints and use one of my favourite effects, which is skin tone. Now as the name implies, this can helpfully sort of add a little bit of depth or colour to certain skin tones. And I'm just going to use the default preset of skin tone 1. So if I come up to the layers and I click on the eyeball, this is going to enable or disable the layer. So with the eyeball off, we get a big cross saying this layer is deselected. If I come a little bit further up though, we have controls about how these layers blend together. Anytime we see a number, we can click and scrub inside that value and that will change that in there. So this is our opacity. So with the opacity set to 0, it's as if we don't have any of the effect in there at all. And with the opacity set to 100, the effect is completely on. So here we're just mixing it back with the layers underneath. To the right of this, we have our blend modes. And these work as they do in other applications. So if you're used to working in Photoshop or Premiere or After Effects, then these blend modes work exactly the same way. So I'm going to use soft light here. And as soon as I turn on soft light, this is going to blend the darker parts of the image and the lighter parts of the image together in different ways. So it's going to give me a lot more contrast. So I see with the eyeball on and off, that's the difference there. And I can now mix this back until we get just enough contrast in there without it being too much of an effect. So I'm going to set this to about 50. I can also click and type in 50 if I want to. And if I want to reset this to 100, I just use the reset, but I kind of like 50. And we've seen in previous videos how we can use masks to isolate this to a particular area. And I'm going to do that one more time as well. So I'm going to add in a mask ML to do an object selection. And if I hold down the Alt or Option key and move over the image, you can see which area is going to be selected when I do a left click and add in my first dot. And if I keep the Alt or Option key held down and add in another dot, it's going to add into my selection as well. If you want to learn more about how Mask ML works, then we have a dedicated video, which I'll link down below. The great thing about optics is that we can add multiple layers of effects, and I'll do that by adding in another layer here. So by adding in another layer, I've given myself a new container to add in another type of effect. So here, maybe instead of using the grads and tints, I'll come into color and use something like maybe color correct. So I can use my color wheels down here to correct things up, or again, any of the presets that we have down at the bottom. But this time, what I want to do is only affect the background and not the girl. So we've already got a mask for the girl down here. So what I can do is I can click and drag this up into another layer. So again, the mask is only affecting the girl. If I come up to my toolbar, I can invert that mask. So now it's only affecting the background. And I can select between these two, and you'll see by the toolbar up at the top whether I've got a mask selected or my effect selected. Maybe this Harry Potter one, and I can always come over to my parameters and adjust these if I need to. Looking back up at the top left into the layers again, you'll see that when I have a different layer selected, this is going to show me the blend mode and the opacity for that selected layer. So I can come back and maybe mix this back in again if I want to. And if I wanted to make any adjustments to the skin tone layer, I could do that in a couple of different ways. If I double click on the thumbnail, it's going to show me that layer now and let me edit it directly. Or let's just double click on the color correct one more time. If I use these icons over on the right, I can decide whether I'm editing that layer or whether I'm previewing it. So these monitors let me set up multiple viewers as well. So we can see the original, the one with just the skin tone, and the one with the skin tone and color correct. So in this way we can see if we've gone too far from our original image and we can make the final adjustments so things sit just right. And if I want to get rid of those other viewers, I can just click on those monitors one more time and they'll disappear. And that's how we can start to mix multiple effects together with opacity, blend modes and layer masks